Hello, I'm Dr. Rosie Kuhn, and this series is called I Want to Be a Better Coach. So, welcome if you've never been here, and welcome back if you've been here before. It's good to see you. Um, so, today there were some things that came up because of my conversations with some clients. And so, I just wanted to share some of those things with you that I think would be helpful for you to think about in wanting to be a better coach, a more effective coach. Perhaps a coach that's going to deeper levels with your clients or going to expanded levels with your clients. So that's what we're going to talk about here today. So number one, I had a session with a client of mine. I'm going to call her Marty. And Marty is training to be a coach. And she's done her certificate works and all those things. And she's developing her clientele. And we had a session and she was talking about an aspect of her life where she was experiencing a dilemma. And it was really interesting to talk with her because it's like she's talking about something that is what shows up with every single client for me. I've been doing this 25 years. Yikes. And so it was interesting to talk to her both as how I do my coaching/coach training is through personal training or personal coaching. We develop both that ability to see what you're coaching from, and what are the issues inside of you that gets in the way of being more effective or being more a better coach. So we were beginning to talk about those things that are part of who she is as a human being, and part of who she can be and listen for with her clients. So the first thing I want to talk about is, and another aspect of this, I'll say, is someone else I was talking to, another coach who's going to a training program. Um, and it's training. It was a conversation with Eckhart Tolle about patience and being and presence. And this individual, call her Carol. Carol was saying there were 4 or 5 other coaches on the same call with me. And it's like, how do I be like, what's going on here? Like, what is this about with being a coach? Like, what are we doing? And how come there are people, what are we doing in terms of trainings and things like that? And one of my messages is quite often that people keep going to trainings, but it's not necessarily helping them deal with personal issues, struggles, challenges, obstacles that are interfering with their coaching practice, their coaching clients coming to them. And so one of the messages I have is uh, I believe when I was I'm talking all over the place, but one of the things I did when I was training people at the Institute of Transpersonal Psychology, I was training there for 10 years. And part of that training was 50 hours of like basically 100 hours of either one-to-one coaching or group coaching. And that was essential to getting a certificate through this program. Was people had to do their coach work. They had to get coached. And the value of that is you get the experience of what it's like to be coached and to meet those obstacles, meet those places, meet those challenges, the resistance, meeting fear, meeting those conflicting commitments, like I say, I want to do this, or I want to be a coach, I want this to be my career. And at the same time, here's how I get in my own way, or I want more money, or I want health, but. So in a sense, we say our commitment is, and this is why we're getting coached. And then there's these things we do, which in a sense point to a conflicting commitment. So most of us as coaches, 99% of us, I'm no different, have these conflicting commitments, which keep us perhaps stuck or disengaged from moving forward in our practice or in our personal realities. I'm saying that to include everything, our existence, so that we become more effective, not only as coaches, but as human beings. So the dilemma is, do I spend money on training, or do I spend money on getting coached and getting coached so that I know myself better, and then can coach from that place. So when I was talking about to Marty, the dilemma for me in my listening as a coach to her is she's in the dilemmas of being herself. Here's this and here's this that I have to deal with. And part of listening with her was, can you see how this process of being present to your dilemmas and your commitments can help you see how can be more effective with your clients. So 99% of what we're learning in our own personal journey work will be effective in helping and supporting and empowering your clients to do the same thing. So, for example, when I'm listening to Marty talk about conflicting commitments, let me see if I can see real quickly what that was, if that would be helpful. Hey, Alan. She she I can't remember what it was, and I didn't write that in my notes, so it's not helpful. But that place of I'm committed to this in my life, and I'm not living as if I'm committed to that. And this is where we have that struggle with clients, is clients want something, but they're not able to move through the resistance. They're not able to be present to the resistance in such a way that it dissolves and makes that resistance less in the way. So because of her training with me, Marty was able to have the personal direct experience of that challenge. And that helps her then be more present to her clients when they are in that dilemma, which every single client is, every single human being is. So for me, I really encourage, if you can afford to get personal coaching, not business coaching, personal coaching, so that you're working on your own issues, you're going to be able to be present to your clients in a way that's much more effective for them, and you feel more confident and effective in that process. Hang on a second, my cat wants to come in. Oh no. So, since it's the beginning of the new year, 2025, it's kind of a good thing because most people are going, so what do I want to do? How do I want to proceed? What do I want to bring to this new year? And so that's what I'm encouraging, is get more individual coaching and or group coaching where you're getting your issues, you're addressing your own issues. Quite often, coaches don't want to deal with their own issues. That's why it's easier to take a course or a training where they don't actually have to be personally engaged in their own process. And we want to help other people be personally engaged in their process. If we're not willing to do it, we can't really support others in doing it. And this is where there's the conflicting commitment. I don't want to work that hard. I don't want to do the personal work. I'm just going to take another training. And that training doesn't support and empower them to go deeper in your capacity to be with what's uncomfortable and how to expand yourself to bring more of what you're wanting into your life. So, I do personal coaching. I do coach training on one-to-one. I do group coaches. It's a group coach training, but we're working in terms of conversation, like what's showing up in your coaching practice. So we're talking about who you are as a coach, but also as a human being. So I offer some of this support. You can go wherever you want, wherever you can, to get the support you need and want. But really, I'm really asking you to look at what is it that maybe keeps you from getting coached yourself. We want to be life coaches, but we're not willing to get life coaching for ourselves. Huge interest. I totally get it. And it took me a long time to really get the value of I have a personal coach, and that's part of my life. And I honor and respect that that's part of my growing edge personally and professionally. So just keep that in mind for yourself and for those clients that you're wanting to support and empower. The second thing is quite often uh, part of our training to be a coach is we're coaching to in a sense, get our clients, the transformative process. It's like, let's just get our clients past their resistance and into activity, into action. And we tend to push for that in such a way that it can create more resistance. Ah, hello. This is Lucy, by the way. She's great. So we can tend to be more pushy. And when we do that, we have to listen. Am I pushing for my client's sake, or because I'm supposed to push, or because I want to show and demonstrate how good I am, or that I'm more effective than somebody else? We have a lot of reasons for pushing, but the fact is, it's pushing doesn't work. It's like working with a cat. I was going to write a blog about coaching is like coaching cats because they have their own style, their own perspective, they have their own pattern, they have their own everything. And so I've learned, in a sense, to coach as if I'm coaching a cat. Everyone has their own level at which, and it's what's called coaching to the gradient. How quickly or how slowly does a client have to process what they're going through? I'm all about process as a coach. A client is going through the process of life. We're life coaches. Wherever your client is, they are in a process. They're in a way of being. They're experiencing themselves in this moment, in this circumstance, in this desire, in this challenge. They are experiencing themselves. And most of us have to go incrementally towards what we're wanting to ensure sustainability, that, oh, I've arrived, I'm in a great place, but it's not sustainable. And for most of us, we're trying to reach that pinnacle, let's say Mount Kilimanjaro or Mount Everest, and the altitude is so high, we don't have the capacity to stay there for more than a few minutes. That's the same with what a lot of people are wanting. When they want what they want, they don't have the ability to sustain that for very long. If we coach incrementally to where they are and what they're experiencing today in this moment and work with them at that level, then we are coaching to the gradient. We're not pushing too hard and we're not being passive. We're really meeting our clients where they are. And that supports and empowers them. It allows them to be seen, heard, and gotten. They feel seen and heard because you're not pushing them to be different. You're not pushing them to get to someplace. Now, this kind of goes against all that training. It's like, here's what you do to get people to where here's what you do too. And in a sense, I've had to erase all of that and go, what's here now? What's happening in the moment? I have a book called 36 Principles of Transformational Coaching, and I talk about the 36 principles that are foundational for me as a transformational coach. You can find that on Amazon and other places. But that 36 principles, one of them is coaching can only take place in the present moment. We're not coaching from the past, and we think we're coaching to the future, but right now it's really a matter of what's happening in this moment. And my clients sometimes get frustrated because we're having a conversation and all of a sudden there's a pause and they'll look, or they'll get this, there's just a moment where something's going on. And I go, what's happening right now? And they go, what? What? But more and more as I do this with clients who've been with me longer, I go, what's happening right now? And they go, I'm having this experience, or I just had an insight, or I just saw how and they can they can grasp in that moment what's occurring for them in the moment. This is where coaching takes place. This is why it's so important to be present in the moment with your client. The foundations are presence and being. I've talked about that before, and I'll talk about it over and over again. And the ability to be present with your client where they are, not trying to push, not trying to get, just where are you? What's going on right now is a big deal. And so coaching to the gradient, and Hans Phillips was my trainer and coach and beautiful human being. That was one of the things I learned from him was you're coaching to the gradient. No faster than your client can go, because when you start pushing, you're going to get resistance. And in that resistance, well, it's a good time to check it out. What's the resistance? What's happening for your client when they're when they're in that resistance? How do you handle resistance? I ask my client all the time. In fact, that was part of my conversation with Marty is like, what's happening when you're in resistance? What do you do when you're in resistance? That resistance shows up, you feel the nudge, or you feel what do you do when you're feeling that? And most of us avoid, ignore, or distract ourselves from that experience. And quite often we're coaching to, hey, let's just jump over that obstacle, or let's just move, let's just ignore the resistance and just do. And that's a way of coaching, but it's not for me an effective way. I coach to being. What's it like being you right now in this moment, feeling resistance, wanting what you want, and at the same time feeling the resistance that it's different or it's scary or it's overwhelming or whatever that is that comes up. That's when we're coaching to the gradient. So just notice what happens in you as you're coaching clients or even in your own life when resistance shows up. It's like, how do you be with resistance? This is again one of the valuable things about getting coached is that you've got a thinking partner or a coach, a person, a mentor that is hearing you and seeing you and going, what's happening for you right now? And that's a very, very good opportunity to practice what you're asking your clients to do. This is such an interesting uh, field, if you will. It's the same with psychology or therapy, a lot of times we as practitioners aren't walking our talk. We're trying to get our clients or wanting our clients to do the work that we aren't willing to do, that we're scared to do ourselves. And I have so much more compassion and respect for my clients because they're courageous. They're doing the work and they make me courageous to say, if they're doing the work, I'm doing the work. So just keep coaching to the gradient of your clients and watching yourself, move along in your own gradient, in your own personal journey. A lot of us think that we're supposed to be further along. Well, obviously, we're not further along. It's just a matter of isness. We're not further along than we want to be. Okay. It's not something that there's wrong or bad or something you're not doing. It's just the nature of the process is that hello. Um, it takes the time it takes. And the degree to which we're present to the challenges that are showing up, the degree to which we're willing to do the work ourselves, be present to it, that's a really important thing. The third, which is sort of what's been already said, is I have it written down as patience, patience, patience. Um, there are a lot of promises in training programs that you're going to get clients. And quite often, and I've said this before, we put the cart before the horse. We expect people to open a business before they've even practiced being a coach. A lot of people are out there building websites and all kinds of things, and they haven't even had 10 hours of coaching time. Now, you can't be a good coach or an effective coach with only 10 hours under you. We expect people to want to buy our products or buy our uh, packages when we haven't even had the experience of coaching. So, number one, um, be willing to practice for free or for very little so that you get the practice. And with the practice comes confidence. With the confidence becomes, in a sense, in the law of attraction, you begin to attract clients to you. Most of us who are afraid is like, oh, I don't know how to coach. We're attracting, don't come to me because I don't know how to coach. And what we want to do is attract people when we're confident. And I find I'm fascinated by the clients that are coming to me now, the level of the quality of their being, where they are in their lives, their age, the level of wisdom that they have, a greater capacity for being open to to coaching and to growing themselves. They want that. So it's because of my confidence in my abilities, my level of I'll say mastery at this point that draws people to me. And that's a good thing. But what I've had to practice is a lot of patience and knowing it's not about the money. It's my clients are not my cash cows. My clients are not the source of my money. And people go, what? It's like, yeah, no, actually, divine universal presence, that's the source. So when I can take that pressure off my clients, take that pressure off myself to get clients so I get money, things start to shift. I'm more relaxed. I'm more open. People call and say, hey, I'm thinking about coaching with you. And I say, here's what I charge. And they go away. And I go, okay, it's okay. They'll find who they need. I'll find who I need. So patience is a really, really important experience and process, a quality of being that's necessary in growing ourselves and our humanness and growing our businesses, growing our capacity to be with people. You know, it's like a lot of people will train to be coaches and only use that quality of being with people in a session when so much of coaching can be valuable with children, with our own children, or with cousins or nieces or nephews, or with if you're a teacher or a coach, athletic coach or minister, wherever we're with people, those coaching tools are part of who we are as a human being. We're listening with curiosity. We're listening with wonder. We're really wanting to empower people in themselves. And we let go of the attachment of what that means to me. I just become a better person. I become a person I've wanted to be. Didn't even know it, but that's the case. And it takes time and it takes intention. I want to be a person of generosity of spirit. I want to know what it's like to be generous all over the place. And that's difficult with my own children, we'll say, or it's difficult with friends or some people that, with clients, they're asking me for my wisdom and they're asking me for support. And where all these other people aren't, it's like, how do I be with them, who they are, and in that place of wonder and appreciation and valuing who they are in their isness, it really helps. But again, it takes patience. So whether you're growing your coaching practice, you're growing your own personal well-being, growing your relationships with other people, it takes patience. So if you know that and you can just take a breath and go, oh gosh, this is taking longer than I anticipated. It's like, okay, this takes longer than I anticipated. Okay. And the serenity prayer, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. We want progress. There's actually a universal law of progression, which means you can't progress any faster than you can. Law of progression isn't going to allow you to progress any further than you can, any faster than you can. And that really requires us to then to be patient with what is, the isness of it. And what's the learning opportunity right here, right now? What is it, as I'm wanting to move ahead really fast, what is it I'm wanting to avoid? Or what am I wanting to dismiss or disregard or distract myself? What is it I'm not wanting to know or experience right here, right now? And I'll ask my clients that sometimes because they're in a hurry. And I'll go, what is it that you're not wanting to experience right now? What's going on right now in the here and now that you're wanting to, in a sense, jump over that and avoid and distract yourself from that, perhaps. And quite often that's where the work is, and that's where the obstacle is to getting further along where they want to get, is they're not wanting to and willing to be here now with what is. So it's big practice. So I think that's pretty much it for today. If you have questions or comments, please feel free to leave it in the comments below. I also have a form in the link. There's in the description, there's a link to a form you can fill out and say, here's my question. Here's my challenge as a coach or as anyone who's helping, supporting, empowering people. You know, it might be quite often beauticians and people who work in as a massage therapist or even nurses and doctors or dentists where we're in connection with people. How do we be when people tell us things we don't know how to be with? So anything that you're going through or challenged by, there's a form below that you can fill in and say, hey, here's my challenge. How do I be with this? And I'd be happy to connect with you on that. I have a newsletter below. Like I said, I have coaching and coaching groups that are there to support coaches in growing themselves. We have this wonderful group that's been going on for 2 years, 3 years. And we're always looking for new people who are wanting to be better and more effective as coaches. So feel free to contact me in that regard. I've got lots of books, as I said, and blogs on my website. And I have also about 300 videos on this particular channel. So feel free to explore and perhaps find something you've never seen before in whatever area of reality and existence and humanness that you're interested in, because I probably have talked about it in one of those 300 videos. There's also training, I'm sorry, becoming a transformational coach is a short series that I have in the YouTube channel. It's a playlist. And also one called Inward Bound, Boot Camp for Self-Transformation. And that's just a place where you can, again, explore who you are for yourself, with yourself. And it's a video series, and I think it could be really valuable. So all those things I could offer you. If you have found this valuable, please give me a thumbs up. It lets people know that you found value and that this is valuable. Please feel free to share it with others. Subscribe if it feels like something you'd like to do. And I'll look forward to being here next week. I'd love to see you here too with me. And that's it. All right. Blessings to you. Bye for now.